But in more transfer news, Mason Mount has completed his Manchester United medical ahead of his proposed £60 million move from Chelsea. Contracts are now being finalized, and a formal announcement is expected in the next 24 hours. The deal is £55 million with initial payment plus an additional £5 million in performance related add ons. I just have to ask, is Chelsea making a mistake letting this player go? A football pundit said at the beginning of this football transfer saga between Manchester United and Chelsea over Mason Mount that the club was selling the heart and soul of its ability to develop players, because foreign-based players, or I should say, players bought into the club, players bought from outside of the country, will never identify with the spirit of the club as much as someone like Mason Mount, who has been at the club since he was 6 years old.
I mean, Chelsea are trying to do some business, but there's some business you don't do in football. I know football is all about making money, but for players like Mason Mount, you don't do that. I mean, this is a player who understands the bread and butter in and out of Chelsea. He played in Chelsea since he was 7. And he has come up the ranks. He, like you just highly mentioned right there, heart and soul. I mean, these are players who know what it means to play for the badge. And now Chelsea are letting him go. Chelsea are not just letting him go; they're letting almost the team that won the 2021 UEFA Champions League go for this new players, the likes of Enzo Fernandez, Noni Madueke. I don't know what's going to become of Chelsea. I'm not completely
Well,
going to
there
say
is an
they're gonna
argument to be
struggle.
made that familiarity breeds stagnation. And Mason Mount made it into the side because Chelsea went through a period where they could not buy new players. It finally allowed the club to dig deep and delve into its wealth of talent that had been growing through the academy for years. Many talents that people have criticized Chelsea for not using. Mason Mount cemented his place in the squad and even won the Player of the Season for 2 seasons back to back for the club. But he did have a very bad season last season, even though majority of the club, of the players at the club, had a terrible season. Yet it seems like the nature of the mentality within the squad, within the club, has become so depressed that maybe the club owners are looking at, no matter how committed this player would be, there's a need for a complete refresh, a turning of the chapter, and then starting new, because there is a lot of young talents who will come through the academy in the next few years. And on top of that, they've bought a bunch of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds who will carry the club and have plenty of time to develop an affinity for the heart and soul of the club, to identify fully with the badge, as it were.
I mean, it's okay for people to have an argument. I mean, it's understandable how you let go of a player who understands the club in and out, Mason Mount. But if you go back Chelsea's history, Chelsea are not really moved by players who come up the ranks. I mean, just like you rightly mentioned right there, Mason Mount had the chance to play in I think 2021 when Frank Lampard was around, and they were still undergoing a European transfer ban, and they couldn't get players. And Mason Mount came on the picture and showed his quality. But Chelsea, we've never known Chelsea for a side that believe in the young stars. I mean, Chelsea, top club anytime, any day. They believe in top players and they're ready to always splash money. So letting Mason Mount go, it's something that they're gonna easily get used to it. I mean, they don't believe in their young stars, unlike the rest of the side, like Pep Guardiola, always giving young stars a chance. Arsenal during Arsene Wenger's time, and even Mikel Arteta is also following through that particular culture. But for Chelsea, they've never believed in youngsters. I mean, they've done great business getting in lots of players, Nicholas Jackson, Christopher Nkunku.
Monday,
Where is Mason
unfortunately,
Mount going to
we've
play?
ran out of time. I know we could talk about this Mason Mount debate for a little while longer, but I would just say this to wrap up. The new owners at Chelsea are investing a great deal in youngsters who they expect to carry the club for the next 10 years. And the ones who fail to live up to expectations will get sold, and hopefully for the club owners, they will rake in a decent profit for them. But until then, until the new season starts and we see the direction of the new project under the new ownership, we'll say goodbye right here on this episode of Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. Thank you so much, Monday Thomas, for joining me to discuss these stories.
It was a great pleasure, and I will be delightful to join you again anytime, any day.
Thank you so much. And to everyone at home or at work or just on your way, thank you for being able to join us on the show. Remember, life is never boring with some sports. I have been your host, humble as always, Mikhail Tinubu. Have a good night.